Not too long ago, we shared a video on this channel exploring whether Donald Trump holds racist beliefs. During that episode, a caller highlighted various instances of racism linked to Trump and his family over time. This video, originally from 2016, is something I want to revisit because it's possible some viewers missed it back then. A notable moment in the clip features a Nigerian author criticizing Trump for his racist behavior, alongside someone else trying to justify Trump's actions as expected. Let's watch the full video, and I'll give you my thoughts afterward.
The first ever black president will be followed by a president who's endorsed by the KKK. Bob, where does that leave you?
Could you pick some? I can't imagine anybody more marginal to American elections than the KKK. I mean, every 4 years the KKK comes up because people like Hillary Clinton want to bring the KKK up.
So it doesn't shock you, it doesn't horrify you. They're holding a rally in December to celebrate his victory.
Yeah, and so are probably the Knights of Columbus. Now, why don't you talk about the Knights of Columbus? Maybe you don't even know what the Knights of Columbus are.
Another extremist group?
It's the largest Catholic organization of Catholic males in the country. Let me just point out to you, it's inappropriate to talk about the KKK in the same sentence as Donald Trump or any Republican. They're utterly marginal. They wouldn't even exist if it weren't for every 4 years you trot them out.
Jim Manda.
Go ahead. Let me hear what you have to say about that.
You know, I find it really interesting. There seems to be a refusal to accept reality. So she's asked a question about the KKK, and it hasn't been engaged with, and instead we're being told that there's this other group called the Knights of St. Whoever. The point is the KKK exists. The KKK endorsed Donald Trump. The KKK stands for white supremacy, and that has to be acknowledged. That has to be pushed back on.
Is there nothing on the campaign trail that he said about race that hit you?
Yeah.
Did you worry about any of it?
No. In fact, you people keep magnifying it. The left in America and the left in Great Britain keeps magnifying it. But he talked about a lot of other things, and those things should get through.
And that is possible.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
If you have a fifth of Latinos or Hispanics voting for Trump all the same, maybe race wasn't an issue, even to the people he
I find that
talked
argument
of.
to be very troubling. The idea somehow that if Hispanic or even any people of color vote for somebody who's racist, it means he's not racist. I mean, every system of oppression has people who are in the group of the oppressed who somehow contribute to that oppression. So it's not even a valid argument to make that because Hispanics voted for him, therefore. I think what we should do is look at Trump for who Trump has told us and shown us that he is. So let's look at what he said on the campaign trail. That's really what, because the only way we can judge the kind of president he will be is based on the campaign that he ran.
But maybe he didn't believe anything that he said, and maybe that's how you win a
But then that's the
primary.
problem, because on the one hand, we're told that Trump's appeal is that he says what he thinks and he says it like it is and that sort of thing.
Well, but
and then on the other hand, we're told that somehow he doesn't really mean it. So which is it? There's something very troubling about that.
No, I'd
Most
say something
Republicans,
entirely
even Paul
different.
Ryan, have accepted that Trump has been racist in his language. You don't.
That's not true. He hasn't been racist.
Textbook racism is the phrase
Let me
he
tell you,
used.
because of the, you're going to say this is
if you're
because
a
of
white man, you don't get to define what racism is.
Oh, I see. I don't
you really
get to
don't.
define it.
So a man who's been racist, you
don't
don't get to sit there and say that he hasn't been racist when objectively he has.
Do you know
and it's not about your opinion. The objective things. Racism is an objective reality, and Donald Trump has inhabited that reality.
Do you know the false consciousness, which is the theory you're talking about, is a Marxist concept? In other words, I can't even open my mouth here because I'm a white male.
No, of course you can. I'm just saying to you that Donald Trump has shown us and has said things that are objectively racist.
No, he has not.
It's not about my emotion. But how
What has he said?
If he says to us, for example, that a judge, a United States judge, is unable to judge him fairly because he is Mexican, that is racist.
I'm
racist.
sorry,
We're nearly
but
at the end of
looked at Judge Curiel, and he didn't look any other color than my color.
Well, that's not the point.
Well, it is the
It's
point.
about what your candidate said.
I'm going to move this on just for a final thought, which is, will Donald Trump govern in the same way that he campaigned?
No.
And that's a
He's
good
not
thing or a
gonna-
bad thing?
It's a proper thing. He showed you how he's going to govern starting the other night when he was dignified, charming, and very focused.
I think it's very sad. I think the standards have been so lowered for Donald Trump that because he manages not to behave like a spoiled child, he needs to be praised. I mean, it seems to, in some ways, this is kind of a crude analogy, but it's kind of like, you know, throwing a little tantrum and letting a little child drive a very sophisticated car. And so to say to us that we have to disregard everything that Donald Trump said and did during his long campaign and judge him just on the one day after he had won the election doesn't make sense.
What did he say that was so racist?
Oh, that video. Let's be honest, it was a complete exposure. It offered an unfiltered look at the mental gymnastics that Trump supporters still resort to, even when faced with clear, well-documented proof of racism. After seeing that, I felt the need to investigate this guy, Emtet Tyrell, or Tyrell Empt, whatever his real name is. Watching him twist words to defend what's unjustifiable made me wonder, where is he now? What political role is he playing these days? What I saw wasn't the work of a critical thinker. It was someone trying to justify bias under the guise of fairness or a different viewpoint. But here's how we do things on this channel. We don't just make claims. We don't rely on gut reactions or internet drama. We rely on facts, ones that are verifiable, traceable, and backed by history. When it comes to Donald Trump, the paper trail goes all the way back to the 1970s. Let's break it down. In 1973, Trump and his real estate company faced a lawsuit from the Department of Justice for intentionally keeping black renters out. Just imagine that. The federal government had to step in because they were purposely denying housing to black individuals. While Trump didn't confess to any unlawful conduct, he settled the case and agreed to adjust his business practices. That wasn't about taking a stand, it was about damage control. Moving ahead to the notorious 1989 Central Park 5 case, Trump took out full-page advertisements in New York newspapers. But instead of calling for justice or a fair trial, he was pushing for the death penalty for 5 black and Latino teenagers before their trial had even finished. Fast forward a few years, with DNA evidence and confessions proving their innocence, Trump still refused to acknowledge their exoneration. No apologies, no self-reflection, just a steadfast refusal to accept the truth. During Obama's presidency, Trump became the prominent face of the racist birther movement, casting doubt on the legitimacy of America's first black president. This wasn't about paperwork, it was aimed at discrediting a black leader. Trump took the lead in this effort. Then, in 2016, he kicked off his run for president. In his first campaign speech, he claimed that Mexican immigrants were drug dealers, criminals, and rapists, and later stated they were poisoning the blood of our country. This talk isn't just xenophobic. It's the kind of white nationalist rhetoric that mirrors some of the worst political agendas from the 20th century. So, when people like EMT Tyrell try to twist the story and say Trump isn't racist, brushing it off as just media hype, you have to ask, what more do they need to see? What more proof or actions are required before we stop making excuses for him? Let's be real, if someone has heard and seen all that yet still stands by Trump's character, they aren't showing objectivity or insight. They've made their choice, and it doesn't align with fairness, equality, or truth. Alright, I've got tons more examples than we can possibly discuss right now. There are countless instances of racist comments, policies, hiring choices, housing decisions, and public statements that stretch back years. But we don't need an endless list to notice the trend. It's crystal clear. So, if someone is defending Donald Trump's racism, they're not just supporting him. They're also backing all his actions that marginalize, demean, and divide people. Whether they realize it or not, that's the stance they're taking. But hey, I'm always open to hearing your thoughts. Drop a comment and let me know what stood out to you in that video. What patterns are you noticing? And while you're at it, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss anything. Share this video if you think more people need to hear the honest truth without any sugarcoating. Because this is more than just political talk, it's about confronting racism and not being silent when others try to spin the narrative. Thanks for being part of this discussion. I appreciate you staying informed. See you in the next episode.